Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Jennifer Marshall. I'm the executive director of This Is My Brave. I'm joined by Melissa Nolan and Limor Smith, two of our members from our This Is My Brave Houston show. Today, we're going to bring you some behind the scenes look because this is a unique year for This Is My Brave. This season is titled our This Is My Brave Stories from Home season. And so we really wanted to get to know our cast members and the story behind what brought them to the organization. So we are thrilled to be here with Limor to talk about her journey with This Is My Brave. So I'm going to toss it to Melissa. She can start off with the first question.
Hi, Limor.
Hi,
good to see you.
Good to see you.
So I guess, how did you hear about This Is My Brave?
I heard about This Is My Brave from someone I know who's in the mental health field, and she told me about it, and I didn't think that I had, that I was brave enough to go do it. But I basically told her I wasn't going to. But I thought about it, and I ended up writing a piece and going, and I'm really happy I did.
So tell us, oh, sorry, Melissa, go ahead.
I was just going to say, when you showed up that day, you were very brave. So we're glad you came.
Thank you. You made it a lot easier. You were very comforting and welcoming and accepting.
Awesome.
Good.
Well, tell us a little bit about what made you decide to step forward and talk about what you've gone through.
Well, I have dealt with so much stigma, like self-stigma of myself, knowing about everything that's said about people with mental illness and how they're put down. And so I really kept it quiet for a long time and was really scared that people would know about it. But I've gone through a lot, and I think I've already started recovering before I ever went to audition, and that helped me. And I'd like to help other people to realize that they're okay and they're good, and all the stigma stuff is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. So can you tell us what it was like to be cast in the show when you got that phone call?
I was very happy. Even after I did the audition, I felt like I recovered a bit because I thought about things that I hadn't thought about before. And I was like, why did I spend so much time punishing myself and, being so upset, hard on myself, and just being with y'all. There were like three of you, and you were so accepting and talking about your own stories. And it just made me feel like a part of something bigger and that I could lean on that. So
we do like to think of ourselves as a family. We call ourselves a brave family, and I love that you felt that sense of connection, and that's what it's all about. And I guess a question I had too is, like, this has been a 5-month process so far, and typically you would have told your story on the stage already because your show was scheduled for April, but the pandemic hit in March, and we had to postpone the show and figure out how to deliver this virtually. And so we've come up with this strategy, and we'll be live streaming in October. But tell us, did getting cast in the show impact your recovery? Like, can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. I think the first time we all met as a cast was the first time that I met, and I'll get emotional saying this, 2 people in the cast were saying, I have bipolar disorder. I have bipolar 1 is what they were saying, which I have. And I'd never had anybody just come out and say that to me before. So it felt really good.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Someday you might get to the point where you naturally say it when you meet someone. I mean, I think that may sound strange, but to me, that's part of my story, and I own it, and it makes up who I am. It's part of who I am. So I know you're at that, you're getting to that point where you're smashing that stigma, and so proud of you for taking this step and joining us and being willing to get up there on stage and talk about it, talk about everything. So.
Well, thank you. I think it's amazing that you did this. I'm so happy. And I used to do theater in high school. So, getting up on stage and stuff is great. But talking about this has not been something I've really felt comfortable with until now. And it's still scary for me. But the fact that you did this is such a great thing. I really appreciate it.
Well, it's the work of many, many people, like Melissa bringing it to Houston, and all the producers, that have come together across the country to bring these shows to different cities. So, Melissa, what else do you have?
I don't know. I guess I have so many questions, but I'm trying to think. So, I mean, I guess even though we've talked before, and you've mentioned your piece and things like that haven't changed too much over the past 5 months or so, but what would you say, like, how has rehearsals or things we've been able to do with the cast helped you? Or has it?
Yeah, definitely. It's great to hear. First off, the other people are so talented, and to be among them is such a gift, number one. And to make me feel so amazing to be with other people who are being out about having a mental illness and have so much to give. And when I started to say before, when I met those two ladies, they were amazing people. There was nothing that like glare that was wrong with them, which was the idea I had in my head of how, I must be and other people must be who have something wrong with them. And it's not even something wrong with us. It's just something about who we are. But stigma in society has all these messages that we tend to believe. And unfortunately, until you kind of come to the light and see that that's not true and not helpful, which I did. So that's how it helped.
What would you say are your hopes for what the audience, our viewers who get to hear your story, what are your hopes for what they take away from hearing your story?
Well, I have to be really vulnerable to talk about my story. And it's taken me a long time to get to the point where I could do this. So I hope that they take away, number one, that we need to slay stigma, which is something I bring up. We need to get rid of it because people who have mental illness need to spend their time getting better, not having to fight stigma. Mm-hmm. And if there's somebody who has bipolar disorder, who has anything going on with them, any mental health issue, I want them to see that, hey, it's okay if I feel scared to talk about this or I feel bad about myself. Look, here's someone who like me and she's feeling good. Maybe I can.
It makes me want to know, more about your background because, you're a regular person in society. Like, tell us a little bit more about your day-to-day and what you do for a living.
I am getting my PhD in social work, and my work is very much related to this. I'm very interested in self-stigma, which is when people internalize society's stereotypes about mental illness, and I enjoy research, and I hope to make some sort of difference to help people with mental health concerns.
Amazing.
And I know you will.
Well,
you already are, So it's so fun that you're here with us today. What's your favorite thing to do when you're not slaying stigma or researching mental health? What do you like to do for fun?
Well, let's see. I like to hang out with my family. I have some great kids, and I like to exercise. I love to go for walks. Ever since COVID-19, I've been riding a bike, which I find very fun. And nature is very healing, to be outside in nature.
That's very true.
I agree.
So I would say, I don't know if you'd be comfortable with this, but if you could give us a little sneak peek of what your piece might look like or will look like for the broadcast in October, we would love that.
Okay, let me think.
In a nutshell, don't give too much away.
Okay, well, I can try and remember the first part, you know, I am here to slay my stigma. Slay means to strike down or to do something really, really well. And I'm here to strike down my stigma really, really well. And then I say, you know, I'm 46 years old. I was diagnosed when I was 19. And I talk about what it was like, some different experiences I had. Some weren't so great in terms of how I was getting mental health treatment wasn't always the best, which I know happens to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And how just, you know, over time I learned that taking my medication is really important and taking care of myself is really important, that it's the best thing for me, and I'm committed to doing that. And then I kind of talked about some hard things that happen, you know, things like people being not really being sensitive and like starting to talk about people with bipolar disorder, and they don't know that I have it, and I have to sit there and listen to them complain because I'm not going to go, wait, I have that. You know, it's just not. Maybe now I would.
You would. I think things will change. That's a prediction that I have, having gone through this over the past, you know, 6-7 years, leading these shows across the country. I've seen so many folks become so empowered after telling their stories. And so I kind of think that things that might change. So
good.
Limor,
it happens.
Thank you so much. This has been a great preview. We're so excited to have you as part of the Houston cast and can't wait to get your show out into the world. So stay tuned. We have more cast interviews coming your way here on our YouTube channel, and the show for Houston is slated for Sunday, October 4th. So check our events page on our website for more details on watching the live stream. We can't wait to see you there. Thanks so much, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.